Suddenly, around the corner of the tunnel appears a writhing mass of a wave of rats sprinting over each other in their haste. The incisors' teeth visible as they scream. The rats are in all shades of brown and black, although most are normally sized. Plenty are of the giant variety. This wave of packed vermin is rushing straight towards your party. All the goblins are shouting, so this obviously isn't something normal to them. Fireball, fireball, you whisper aloud as cold red falls over you, meaning this for Egra. What? Fireball, fireball, you whisper aloud as cold red falls over you, meaning this for Egra. What the fuck does that even mean? I mean, I'm sure Rooster is saying this to Egra that use a fireball, but that line is very weirdly written. That would be a poor choice down here, and I don't do that. I don't do those anymore, remember, says Egra. Besides, I think they are rather cute. Transform me then. They're only rats, says Egra. You do not know them as I do, you say. The rats are nearly upon you. Egra seems uninterested in aiding you. What do? I think I'm going to use my dagger because Azazel does not want me to use my sword. So we'll use the dagger. Draw your dagger and turn your body into a fighting stance. The screeching is deafening as rats charge closer, and then they are upon you. Writhing past their soft fur brushing against your legs. Shouting, you slash with your dagger, cutting into flesh. However, you do not feel the terrible pinch of those teeth. Rather, they are evidently set upon escaping rather than attack. You're nearly knocked over by the current of little warm bodies rushing past like a river. There must be tens of thousands of them. The chieftain's back is to the rats. He's looking past you, shouting something that sounds like demon language rather than goblin. You must be addressing Jackal. When the wave has finally passed, you look back. The goblins are wide-eyed and breathing hard, evidently as traumatized as you. One of the Vorgs is throttling a giant rat he caught in his jaws. A trickle of strangling rats screech as they sprint past you after the main rat horde, but these panicked screams are few enough for you that you can now hear a new sound coming down the tunnel ahead. A metallic scraping sound. What the hell is it? What is that guy? A fucking pyramid head is showing up or something? Why the hell are the rats running? How are you? Whispers the chieftain in the common as he swiftly sloshes forward. This is the way out, but we must make haste now, if it is not too late. The chieftain leads you around the corner where the rats had come from and suddenly halts. Ahead you see the source of rats' terror. From far down the sewer tunnel, a huge monster slithered towards the water. Through the water towards you. This thing has the torso of a muscular hairless man, yet with 6 arms, and the hands attached to those arms are clutched swords and axes. The beast has the face of what appears a mixture of an ape, a boar, an abomination your wildest nightmares could not conjure. It has no legs, only a massive serpent tail. Despite no legs, the thing is tall. Its head nearly touching the ceiling. You know what this sounds like? This sounds like Hindu gods. Some of the gods have like multiple hands, like obviously they're not as scary looking as this thing, but yeah, multiple of the Hindu gods do have like a lot of hands which they do use to wield multiple weapons. It's kind of like that, except for the fact that this thing has a snake body. I don't think there's any Hindu god with a snake body as far as I can remember, but whatever. The beast scrapes the point of the swords against the stone walls of the sewer tunnel as he grins a huge mouth of fangs. With mandibles open wide, he is taking his time, approaching slowly and making a show of his 6 weapons. I was afraid they'd find their way down here, and a Bane demon no less, says the chieftain. Demora's hole, I hate those. A Bane demon with the top side of the Nelfish knee. How exotic. What the fuck is that? A Nelfish knee, says Egra. How exotic. Nelfish knee, you say? Or Type 4 demon, as they are commonly called. Type 4. What is this fucking doom? Says Egra. A grimness in her voice. Neville Scrot. They have numbers, you say? You do not want to meet a Type 6, says Egra. That's fucking funny. Go ahead, Rooster. I'll let you handle this one, says the chieftain, waving down the tunnel dismissively. Feel your jaw drop with you regard the chieftain, then oncoming demons. What? Wait, you're the one who hates Bane demons. You said so yourself. I've nothing against this monster as he seems rather cheerful. Do not make me say it again, says the chieftain, looking back at the yammering goblins behind you. I'm in command. You regard the approaching demon gods. You do not like the confidence of that beast, much less all those arms and weapons. I recommend you use that cursed Lathian blade of yours, says the chieftain. Likely it is the only thing that will harm it. You take several quick paces forward. With you in front, the eyes of the Bane demon falls upon you. True terror pushes up within, freezing you in place. I've faced demons before, you think. Egra, I may need your help with this one. Yes, champion. This is far more deserving of aid than rats, says Egra. Fireball? You ask? No. The Bane demon slithers forwards a little faster, sparks now flying off the scraping steel. Supposedly, Egra's invisibility allows you to attack while staying cloaked. What does that even mean? Oh, but we are not invisible. However, you have heard more than once that more powerful demons can see that which is invisible, and so transformation into something else may serve better to even the odds. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, isn't fucking Azazel gonna question that? Like, how the hell did you transform into a beast or something? A lich with fireballs and lightning, you say. A lich with fireball and lightning. That's funny. No, says Egra. Perhaps I can use transformation to escape and let Azazel fight her own battle, you say. Escape to where? Besides, I would hate to leave the succubus so soon. She's handy, says Egra. Handy? She's duplicitous. What? Duplicitous? Unpredictable, and now she's using me as fodder, you say. Yes, I'm warming up to her, says Egra. If Egra thinks you can defeat this smug demon, then maybe you can. You are a hero after all. That is the stupid line of thought. Egra does not think you can defeat it. Egra just don't care. Azazel, in the form of a possessed chieftain, warned you to use your sword on the Bane demon that leaves either an animal that you use to get behind the monster, hoping before coming back as yourself. Hopefully with your sword in your hand, or picking a creature that can wield a blade. I don't understand this fucking paragraph at all. That leaves either an animal that you use to get behind the monster. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. What the fuck is, what is this? I legitimately cannot understand. A few other options come to you of creatures you have seen that are less ambitious than a lich. You estimate that these options will cost about the same amount of favor, given that they are rather extreme transformations. Small bat, small fish, centaur, troll. I think small fish, I can just go behind and then come back as myself, I suppose. Small fish, because we are in the fucking water, right? In the sewer, so I could probably swim around. I shall become a fish and use the shallow water to get behind the monster. A bold and strange choice, champion, says Egra. Charge at the monster, hoping to get some distance before you and the rest of the party before you engage. It would be best as Azazel and the rest do not get a close look at what you're about to do. The Bane demon continues to strafe the wall as though this is such good fun that he need not interrupt himself for the likes of you. However, you come within 20 meters or so, you draw your sword, which bursts into white flames. Now the monster's eyes widen and he brings all 6 of his blades to bear. Favor decreases 4. Now you shrink and soon the putrid water is up to your chin, then your up to your waist, then your chin. The amazement on the face of the demon changes to what might be confusion. However, one thing he seems clear on is chopping you up with those blades, and then you're a fish. A total transformation took about 2 seconds. Although you cannot see the demon now that you're underwater, you're sure it closed some of the distance between you in that time. You're a good swimmer as a human. You find that it's actually surprisingly easy as a fish. You simply kick, which is evidently flapping your tail. You veer off a bit and then swiftly learn how to use your arms, which you suppose are your pectoral fins, to help steer. You pour on the speed. Although you cannot see far in the murky water, you can see the bricks of the tunnel inches below, and you dive down so your belly scrapes as you go. You feel a wave hit you, most likely the push of the demon's body plowing the water as it goes. You must be close. Sure enough, the scales of the demon's serpent's body appear. You launch up with all your strength forward to the sides of the scales, like a sprawling fish leaping a waterfall. Into the air you fly. You skip against the slimy wall. An arm comes at you and makes contact, but it's a glancing blow and you slide past thanks to your slippery scales. Morale increases 3. Back again. You shout in your mind. Thankfully, transforming back is nearly instantaneous. As you come to, your sword is in your hand. The monster has twisted 2 of his weapons raised to bring down upon you. With everything you have, you drive your sword up underneath the monster's protruding ribcage, where his heart would be if he were a human. That much of his anatomy must be the same, because immediately he drops his weapons and shudders. You yank the sword out and, mustering all you have, lop off the huge head of the beast just the way your sword likes it. That's kind of cool. Like, that is legitimately cool. If this was animated, that would be an amazing scene to see. The serpent tail underneath your feet lashes spasmodically, making you fall onto your crotch, straddling the tail. That's kind of kinky. Getting to your feet, your sword blazes in your hand, lighting up the tunnel, otherwise drawing entirely too much attention to itself. You're barely sheathed it before the first of the two wargs arrive and clamps his jaw down on the blood-spewing neck stump of the now dead, you hope, demon. Immediately, giant wolf unlatches from his prey, vomits against the tunnel wall. Obviously, his blood must be poisonous, acidic, I don't know. Some of the bile landing on your pant legs. Gods, not even a lifetime of baths will make up for this, you whisper to yourself. The other walk comes to a sudden stop near the demon corpse, making water slosh up around. He sniffs the body, growls out something at his puking companion, and then barks in Borg laughter. Chieftain and the rest of the party sloshes up. Thank the gods, you say sarcastically. You're just in time to do nothing at all. The chieftain grins. Behind him, Jackal lifts Azazel's body high, as though offering her up as a sacrifice to the gods. Above while sewage water sloshes around from all the charging goblins. The chieftain motions behind to the goblins, still grinning at you. We're all impressed, even the wolves, although I have a few questions about the spell you cast. And maybe I'll have an answer for you, you say, crinkling your face at the loudly vomiting warg another time. Chieftain shouts orders to the goblin. The little monsters bring retrieving swords and axes from all around the body of the fallen demon. The goblins are hefting those one-handed weapons with both hands, surprisingly unsurprising for such heavy steel. You have provided better blades for your new friends, says the chieftain to you. Perhaps they are capable of cutting through fiendish hide. Okay, they will not fight demons regardless of what blade they carry, you say. They have not the courage. Even goblins want to be brave, says the chieftain with a mock pained expression. And now you have inspired them, they say. If the female human can slay a dark one, why can't we? Ha! First you were mistaken as a woman by the dwarves, now by the goblin, says Egra. You're a natural trickster. I suspect it's your silky long hair, says the chieftain, as though reading your mind. Plenty of men, very lucky men, have such hair, you mutter, ignorant ankle biters. He gets very angry with that. I suppose anyone would, but I guess I just don't have that much self-esteem in me left to get angry over some stupid shit like this. I'll just ignore it more than likely. The warg not vomiting crouches, and a goblin climbs up onto its back, probably the same goblin rider as before, although you really can't tell them apart very well. The wolf strides down the tunnel ahead of the party, his rider sitting up tall, showing off from what you can tell. I wish, for some reason, I feel like if there was more gap in between the lines, the line spacing was just a little bit more, I would stop fumbling my sentences. Because I read the wolf strides down the tunnel, but because the and the tunnel was so close at the bottom of the paragraph, I just read the tunnel instead of the wolf strides down the tunnel. So I feel like it's my fault, but still, if maybe the line spacing was a bit more, maybe that would be helpful. But then again, that would look weird then. I don't know, whatever. Up ahead, the sewer tunnel splits three ways. The straight path leads to a stairway going up and out of sight. The stairs flicker with faint firelight and screams down, and thundering drums filter down from that direction. The chieftain calls out to the lead warg rider, and they go forward. As you and the chieftain reach the intersection, the chieftain sucks in his breath. Demora's hole, a greater Geruzo. He points a thin claw down the tunnel, left tunnel. Red ooze is smeared against both walls, nearly painting the entire lower part of the tunnel. Even worse than a Bane demon. What is that, a type 7 or something? Wait, how does she even... Well, we should not probably talk about types of demons, considering, you know, Azazel would be like, how does he know that they're demons types? He does not seem like the most educated type, so that's kind of weird. But what is it called? A greater Geruzo. Interesting. What is that, a type 7 or something, you say? Chieftain blinks at you, shakes his head in what might be pity, and leads into the right tunnel, sniffing. I don't know what went this way, but it's not of this world, and judging by the stink of it, I'd rather not make its acquaintance. Did they fan out in all directions, you ask? The chieftain doesn't answer as he sloshes forward along the straight-ahead tunnel, following after the warg rider. Soon you, the chieftain, and the warg rider bunched up at the bottom of the stairs with the rest of the party crowding up behind. You can feel the heat coming off the warg's leg beside you. Above is the surface. The grate guarding this entrance has been ripped free, and through the threshold you see orange flames in the night sky beyond. A gurgling cry sweeps down to you from above, making your skin crawl. And that is how they got down here, says the chieftain. The chieftain pulls out the scrying stone, turns his back to you, and mumbles an arcane word. The glow from the stone lights up the tunnel in a ghostly white instead of light. This is not the exit I planned, but it will have to do, says the chieftain as he sloshes back to the jackal and scuffs the scrying stone back into the satchel of the unconscious Azazel. Is it safe up there, you ask, raising your voice over a demonic snarl coming from above and the clashing of steel on steel. About as safe as you can hope for on this night, says the chieftain. Leaders first, you say, pointing up the stairs. The chieftain calls back something. Swiftly, the other warg charges up as the goblin flattened themselves against the tunnel walls to make way for him.